Welcome to another edition of Ask and Ye Shall Receive Answers. Now this is the point of the week where I take your questions. I take probably one of your questions. I'd like to do more, but we'll do that on the podcast. We'll talk about it in a sec. I take your questions and I do my best to answer them. So sometimes it's just my opinion. Sometimes it's just little bits of knowledge that I know that I share with you guys. Now, how do you ask me questions? You can go to the general forums. There's an Ask G-Man video question thread. Put your question there, and I may select it for this video. The rest of the questions will go on a podcast, but I'm not done yet. Because the other place you can ask questions is on Twitter. People like the Twitter, right? So you can go to Twitter. My Twitter name is G-Man from Heck. So you can go there. Hey, G-Man from Heck, I've got a question. You don't have to say that. You use the hashtag Ask G-Man, and then the questions will be all gathered nice and neatly there, and I'll take questions from there as well. Now, if I don't answer your question here in the video, I've started a second podcast. So now Comic Find has two podcasts. It's the Invincibly Supermassive Comic Book Podcast of Stuff. A lot of times, I'm kind of sharing the podcast with a special guest. So, last week, we had Dan Slott. This week, it was a little different, but it's still kind of the same idea. So, what I will be doing is answering questions there as well, if I can keep the guests on the phone long enough, because they're so busy writing comics, and I don't want to be responsible when their book is delayed, and they're like, well, I was talking to Tony on the phone, and so I couldn't meet my deadline, and I don't want that, and I'm sure you guys don't want that. But sometimes they answered questions as well. So, more reason for you to ask questions, because one of your favorite comic book writers might be answering the questions. Or maybe it could be a comic book writer that you're not crazy about will answer the questions, but that's too bad. As far as this week's question, it comes from the incredible Mr. E13. He wants to know, now, I apologize because this is similar to last week in way. It has to do with the New 52. So last week's New 52, or last week's question dealt with, did certain things happen? Like, did Superman die? Did Coast City get destroyed? Did help kill a bunch of people when he was parallax and all that? The day before, I wrote an article in Off My Mind about how we need to know the history of DC because there's so many of these unanswered questions. So I don't mean to beat a dead horse because that's just wrong, but this is a good question, and it has to do with Wally West. So that's why I plucked this question from the plethora of questions, and he wants to know. I actually forgot about this, and I had to go back and read Flash Rebirth. During Flash Rebirth, so Barry Allen's back, Wally West, this is out pre-New 52. If you haven't read it, read it, even though we don't know if it's happened or not, if it's part of New 52. But during their battle, they're like, not like this, because they're running, they're Flashes, they're chasing, I don't want to spoil it too much, they're chasing Reverse Flash, Professor Zoom. No, Thrawn, whatever, the Reverse Flash at the time. And I'm going to kill someone, Barry, and I won't tell you who. And then he's saying, you can't do anything. And then here's a kicker. He goes to Wally, and he's like, just so you know, when they get older, one of your children is going to destroy your life. Now, I don't know if it'd really sound like that, because he'd be, when they destroy you, because, you're running really fast. And plus, are they not running faster than the speed of sound? Sonic booms, because if you're running, anyways. So, the question is, this threat, this prediction, this whatever, does this still hold? Because the main thing is, who the heck is Wally West now in the New 52? Because there's no Wally West. We have Iris West, we have this guy Daniel West, which hopefully you read Flash 14, because he's like, hey, I'm your brother. So he revealed that he's Iris's brother. But where is Wally? We don't know where Wally is. But the question is, does this threat, this prediction, this whatever you want to call it, will Wally West, one of his children, destroy his life? Now, that could be, if we just take that right there, that could mean a lot of things. What does he mean by destroy your life? It doesn't mean kill you. It'd be different if you said one of your kids is going to kill you. Saying one of your kids is going to destroy your life. Now, destroy your life and how? He's gonna, make you go into financial debt. He's gonna make you go out as a Flash, and then all of a sudden the seat of your pants falls off because the kid did something and was messing around with the costume. And we don't know what destroy your life means. But the bigger question is this going to happen? Now, the problem is, a lot of people might say, no, it's not going to happen now because there is no Wally West. Wally West is probably somewhere. Dan DiDio said, and he can say whatever he wants. Dan DiDio said that a lot of these characters that are missing aren't gone. They're not erased. They're just not out yet, and they're waiting for the right story to bring them and all this stuff, something like that. So this means we could still possibly see Wally West at some point. We just don't know when. Now, if we do see Wally West, then all of this could happen. What could be the case is that this has already happened, because that's where the confusion comes from. With Batman continuity, with Green Lantern continuity, most of that stuff has happened. So we could kind of say, did this Flash Rebirth thing happen? Probably not, because we're seeing a younger, less experienced Barry Allen. So it doesn't seem like he was a Flash for a while, died, and then came back, because supposedly none of the Crisis happened. So Crisis on Infinite Earth didn't happen. So chances are Wally has not been the Flash. We just don't know where he is. The other question could be, how old is Wally? If Wally exists somewhere in the New 52 and we just haven't seen, he could be like in Nebraska, and maybe we just never seen Nebraska in the New 52. So he could be out somewhere. We don't know if he has powers or not. He could have powers. Maybe, he's got married. Maybe him and Linda did get married. They're off. He's like, I'm going to just step back. I'm not going to be the Flash for now. Or maybe he hasn't been the Flash. He hasn't become the Flash. Maybe he hasn't gained his powers yet. We just don't know, because what we do know is there hasn't been a Teen Titans as we know it. What is going on? Now, another option could be is, how old is Wally West? Again, assuming Wally West does exist, how old is he? Is he the same age as Dick Grayson, or 21-ish? Or is it possible that he's even younger? Now, and this is where people are going to be like, what? You can't do that. You can't just DH him so much. It doesn't make sense. A lot of stuff doesn't make sense. And this is where, as hard as it is for all of us, me included, sometimes we just need to let go. Now, I want Wally West in some shape or form, and hopefully pretty close to what he was. If we eventually get him in 6 months, a year, 2 years, and he has to be a little bit younger in order to fit in with suddenly gaining powers and all that, I'm almost willing to accept that. I'd rather have a slightly younger Wally West than no Wally West at all. I've said the same thing about Cassandra Cain. If Lady Shiva has been de-aged, could she really have like a 16, 17-year-old daughter? Probably not. If she's the same age as Dick Grayson. So it's possible Wally will eventually become... And again, if the New 52, if this is where DC is going for the foreseeable future, we don't need to have everything at once. So it could be like 5 years. It could be, heaven forbid, it could be 10 years until we see Wally West. Which isn't going to make sense with Bart Allen already being around. But again, things are changing. Things are happening. So it's possible they may address this in 5 years, 7 years. Here comes Reverse Flash and he makes the thing, and then Wally has kids and all that. So as of now, it looks like this has not happened. Now, as far as Reverse Flash, we don't know if there's been any Reverse Flashes in the New 52. This is, again, goes with we don't know what has or hasn't happened. There was a Reverse Flash that was basically the cause of Flashpoint. Him and Barry Allen mucking around in time and all that. What we do know is there's going to be a new Reverse Flash. So Brian Buccellato and Francis Manapul have teased that there's going to be a new Reverse Flash. We don't know who it's going to be, and supposedly his color scheme is going to be different. I guess they're not going with the yellow and the red. I don't know. If we do have a different Reverse Flash, this is a totally different story, because we've had more than one Reverse Flashes. So did this happen? I'm gonna have to say, in the New 52, this prediction has not happened, because we have to assume Wally West does not have speedster powers. We don't know how old he is. We don't know where he's at. So chances are Flash Rebirth couldn't have happened because it doesn't seem like Barry died and then came back 23 years later. 23 years in our time. The other thing, mentioning de-aging Wally West, we also saw in Aquaman 14 where they mentioned Garth, who we can assume is Aqualad, the other Aqualad, Tempest, and Ocean Master says, return him to his mother or something like that. So that makes you think that Garth has been de-aged. So maybe Wally West will be de-aged too. So there's a question for you guys. So I know this is supposed to be me answering the question. I answered the question as best as I could. I don't think that incident has happened. It's possible it could still happen. But a lot's going to depend on where is Wally West when he finally appears. Does he already have powers, or is he about to get powers? Or maybe he's never going to get powers. But my question to you is, would you rather have a younger Wally West that doesn't match up with Roy and with Dick, or would you rather have Wally West somewhere, maybe he's in London with speed powers, just being off panel, doing whatever he's doing, and we're just not seeing those adventures? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Keep asking your questions. Go to the Ask G-Man video question forum thread in the general forums. Go to Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, G-Man from Heck. Use the hashtag AskGman, and your questions will be answered. Thank you for watching. Now, watch this. I'm ready. I'm going to run.